Whether you're thinking of divorcing your narcissistic spouse, right in the middle of it, or have finalized your divorce, the tactics are the same. If this sounds like you need to know about Christine Hammond's new masterclass series, How to Survive a Divorce with a Narcissist. In this 4-hour video series, Christine Hammond introduces the toxic tactics that narcissists use to abuse, humiliate, and manipulate you, and teaches you exactly how to recognize these tactics and navigate through them with mastery and confidence. How to Survive a Divorce with a Narcissist is a deep dive, a masterclass that'll show you how narcissists use tactics like bait and switch, scare tactics, roller coaster ride, and child's play. It's How to Survive a Divorce with a Narcissist, a 4-hour recorded video masterclass with Christine Hammond. For more information or to purchase today, just go to growwithchristine.com/narcissism. That's growwithchristine.com/narcissism. This masterclass will change your life. Again, that's growwithchristine.com/narcissism. This is Understanding Today's Narcissist. Brought to you in part by PsychCentral.com. And now here's your host, Christine Hammond.
At the request of one of our listeners, today we're going to talk about surviving narcissistic in-laws. So if you are like one of my listeners out there and you have a topic that we haven't addressed and you would really like to hear more about it, please go ahead and send me an email at growwithchristine@gmail.com. That's growwithchristine@gmail.com. I will be happy to answer your questions, and even happier if you want to give me a suggestion of something that you would like to hear more about regarding narcissism. So let's talk about the 5 different ways you can survive narcissistic in-laws. So we're going to talk about Clark and Claudia. It was a second marriage for both of them. So they were prepared for a difficult first couple of years as they wound up blending their families together. But what they did not expect was the added difficulty of Clark's parents. He knew they were narcissistic, and he even prepared Claudia for their limited encounters. However, the holidays brought out an intensity that Clark did not expect. It was also Clark's birthday, and his mother invited them by saying, "Only I know how to properly celebrate our special day." This passive-aggressive comment was just the beginning of the very strange behavior. Clark's mom treated her son like he walked on water. Absolutely nothing was his fault. Everything was Claudia's fault. It was as if he was a demigod of sorts, and Claudia was not good enough to even wash his feet. When Clark sneezed during this visit, his mother said, "If Claudia took better care of you, this wouldn't happen. You never got the flu with me." Clark learned in the past to ignore such comments. But for Claudia, who was still trying to oppress her in-laws, she took the criticism, unfortunately, to heart. Yet, the most revealing statement happened when they were watching Clark's kids playing. His mother turned to Claudia and said, "Enjoy them now, because one day they will leave you forever for someone else." That was it. Again, the remarks seemed to roll off Clark's back, while it bothered Claudia. After that remark, Claudia secretly vowed to stay away from her mother-in-law as much as possible. Desperate to figure out a way to survive the pending doom of the weekend, however, Claudia revisited her and read up on narcissism. She decided to settle on these 5 strategies of survival. We're going to talk about them. Number 1, charm is a trap. At the beginning of their relationship, Claudia thought she connected with Clark's mother. But just before the wedding, Clark revealed a telling conversation in which his mother encouraged him to walk away from the pending marriage. Ever since then, Claudia felt displaced, uneasy, and confused. This time was going to be different. Claudia vowed not to fall prey to her charm. Instead of seeing her pleasantries as an attempt to improve the relationship, Claudia would view them as bait to draw her in so she could be attacked later. She chose not to believe the flattery, instead view it as a trap. So, the first tip is charm is a trap. Second tip, conversation is an opportunity. Looking back on their relationship, Claudia realized that Clark's mother would draw her into a conversation that quickly turned into a competition of who showed more love to her husband. It was a sick cycle that Claudia tried to avoid. But dodging discussions with her mother-in-law only resulted in comments like, "Your wife hates me. She won't even talk to me." Instead, Claudia decided to intentionally converse with her mother-in-law about herself. That way, Claudia would avoid talking about herself and her mother-in-law would retain the spotlight. So Claudia saw conversation as an opportunity, our second tip, by getting her mother-in-law to talk about herself. Number 3, confusion is vulnerability. Claudia began taking an inventory of their past discussions and realized that she often apologized for things that were not her fault. Her mother-in-law used her confessions as further evidence of Claudia's ineptness as a wife, mother, and even a human being. Claudia thought by that expressing regret, her relationship would improve and she would keep the peace. And under normal circumstances, this might be correct. But with a narcissist, this is viewed as weakness and an opportunity for future attack. So Claudia decided not to say "I'm sorry" for a whole entire weekend. So confession is vulnerability is number 3. Number 4, charades are a cover. In talking with Clark, Claudia realized that her mother-in-law's memory of grandiosity was greatly exaggerated. Her husband just dismissed the stories as fictional, while Claudia took them to heart, believing them to be some standard that she needed to achieve. In reality, the false mask that her mother-in-law wore was a covering for a deep-rooted insecurity. The greater the story, the larger the insecurity. Just grasping this truth eased Claudia's own insecurities and helped her to see her mother-in-law as a flawed, not perfect person. So number 4, charades are a cover. Number 5, confidence is golden. The larger-than-life persona that her mother-in-law displayed caused Claudia to shrink in comparison. Without her shield of confidence, Claudia was defenseless to the passive-aggressive personal attacks like every good mother knows how to do this. This immediately put Claudia on the defense while her mother-in-law remained safely on the offense. No game was ever won with a good defense only. So Claudia rehearsed some comeback lines in retaliation. Good mothers might know that, but great mothers do this. By anticipating her mother-in-law's negativity with Claudia's new salad counterattacks, she was able to confidently survive the weekend. So confidence is golden. Let's go through the 5 again so that you can survive a weekend with your narcissistic in-laws. Remember, charm is a trap. Conversation is an opportunity. Confession is vulnerability. Charades are just a cover. And confidence is golden. These 5 strategies allowed Claudia to walk away from the weekend feeling more secure, not less. Surprisingly, the more confidence Claudia demonstrated, the less her mother-in-law attacked. The temptation after such success is to believe that things are permanently changed or fixed. However, this is not the case, as narcissists will patiently wait for future opportunities to attack. So Claudia decided to keep repeating these techniques over and over again. And this wound up reducing some of the problems that she was experiencing every time she had to encounter her in-laws. So I hope that's very helpful for you. Those are 5 ways to survive with your narcissistic in-laws. This is especially useful when you're dealing with somebody who you don't have to see very often. For those of you who do have to see your in-laws very often and they're narcissistic, you may want to look at some of the steps that we talked about for a spouse. Because sometimes when you have that kind of a close relationship, it feels more like a spousal relationship than it does a distant in-law relationship. So try on these steps for size. Remember, there are just 5 of them, and see if they help you out next time you have to deal with your narcissistic in-laws.
Thanks for listening to Understanding Today's Narcissist with Christine Hammond. Brought to you in part by PsychCentral.com. For more information, visit growwithchristine.com.